Welcome everybody to the Broken Ring Racing League. This is the GT3 Sprint Championship, Season 16, Round 7. The back half of this season, as the first half has been completed, rounds 1 through 6, and we have our mid-season winners, or for the first half champion. Ryan Otis in the, ooh, no, that's not. Oh, okay. Must be a, I thought it was Jacob Simmons. Anyway, Ryan Otis is the first half winner, I guess, and Jeff Koffel is in the Pro-Am class, won that as well. Jason Daly in the AM class twice. That's an oddity in its own. He wins twice. But Joshua D is the rookie uh, winner at the moment. I think this is because they did the updates to the yeah, because people got classified into, we got mid-season promotions. So those mid-season promotions definitely made a effect on the actual ranking sheet. Ryan Otis retains all of his points, but he shouldn't be retaining his points because he was in the rookie class when he won those points. Anyway, it was Jacob Simmons who won the overall pro. The rookie was Ryan Otis, just correcting everything, and Elliot Burton Pro-Am, but it was actually Jeff Koffel. I think Greg got that one mistaken. No, I think it was just the winner of the race. Sorry, not the overall. Anyway, that aside, um, take a look at the top 3 now. In the pros, apparently Ryan Otis has the most points, retaining them as he's ahead of Jacob Simmons, and then Austin McGill is in third. Jeff Caulfield still in class for the Pro-Ams, P1. Elliot Burton is in second, and Brandon G. Burns is in third. Followed by the AM class, Jason Daly still leads over Aiden Gords, who is in second, with Seth Hansen in third. Now with the promotions mid-season, we'll get to see what the championship looks like for the rookies. Joshua D is now leading it over Gui Oliveira, and Charlie Bass is in third. Going over to the team championship, Gage Hines and Jeff Koffel, a pro and a Pro-Am, are leading Valhalla in first, with Austin Squared Racing in second, Draft Punk Gold in third, Thunder Thighs Racing in fourth, 499 Racing in fifth, No Longer Radio Controlled in sixth, Savage Racing in seven, Team Juice in eight, Mid-Pack Mafia Motorsports in nine, Texas Racing Team in 10, Captain Global Motorsports in 11, Little Lugnuts in 12, Bluth Company Racing in 13, Rockstar Energy in 14, Narwhal Racing in 15, and G-Spec Racing still sitting in 16th. That said, this is the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I think I'm saying that correctly. I just don't even remember what the track name is. Mexico City. It's the same thing when it goes to like the Spain ones, like, and the Italian ones. I don't really ever put too much effort in my research here. But hopefully you can hear me, or else this is just ASMR for everyone else. And I tested my mic, and it seems like everything on my end, like everything's working. I mean, I'm even on Discord right now talking to myself, and it does not make a difference. Anyway, it's showing that I'm talking. That's all I gotta say. We have Mexico City. Great times across the board right now as Jacob Simmons leads with that 140.5. And there's only 5 drivers in the 140s. And Tingle having a little bit of a mistake there. I didn't quite catch it. But then we got guys in P6 in the 141s all the way down to P14. That's a little bit of a, I mean, that's a small gap if you really think about it. P6 to 14, not ideal. Jake Daly now goes into 15th with a 142.036. And you got to go with the 142s for not that long, I don't think. We go P, he's P15 all the way down to P28. That's actually a big split. That's a good margin for 1 second. Everyone in the 142, even Andrew Frank, the last one there. Then you have at P29 with the 143 of Tom Smith, and that goes pretty much down to P37. There's 39 drivers registered for this race, so we might see 2 more incoming. Yeah, there you go. 4 minutes, 14 seconds left in practice. We'll get on to qualifying. It should be pretty fun. Charlie Bass still sporting those rookie decals, but he won't have to for long. I mean, once he gets one race, but there's not going to be a I don't think they promote outside. It's promotions at the end and mid term of a season. Those get applied. So I think he's just going to stay in the rookie class for the remainder of these races up till, the last round, and it'll be fun. Be round 12. I'm not even sure where we're going to be at when round 12, but he's fighting in a championship, though. He's got Gui Oliveira, who is not there. What timing should go? Oh. Gui has not shown up, I think, for the last 2 races. It's unfortunate, because if he did one of them, he would have been promoted. Joshua D didn't show up for the first 2 races, and he's still being consistent. And I say consistent, but he's actually not here either. We don't have a lot of the rookies in this session. We have Charlie Bass, Nolan Todd, and Aaron Siciliano. That's 3 rookies. The rest of this is, we got 17 AM class drivers, we have 8 Pro-Ams, and we have 9 pros. I think that's probably the highest margin of pros we've had in a while. Pros are a very small field in general. I mean, if we look at the registered or the ranking sheet, we have 12 registered pros that have actually shown up. Matt Benson doesn't have his accents, but I think he does, and it's just not showing it. It's one of those weird iRacing trading paints things, but I'll give it one more refresh and see if it fixes it. But yeah, I mean, between this and IR Sidekick, like nothing works for me. Or if yeah, I won't get into the IR Sidekick business. Pro-Ams, there's 15 of those, 15 Pro-Am drivers that are in total. So having 8 of them there, it's not bad. Not bad numbers there. Same with the 9 pros are there, or 12 registered and 9 are actually in the session right now. That's actually pretty good numbers for the pros. For the AM class, having 17 is pretty impressive, considering there's 29 that have raced at least once or more. I think we're consistently at least 20-ish amount of drivers in the AM class that are showing up race after race. And then you go look at the rookies. We had 22 registered rookies. Unfortunately, we lost basically all of them after the first round, or they showed up for the second round and then never showed up again. That was definitely the case. I think 11 through 22, just, they're gone. And it's unfortunate. Some good racing here. Good class racing as well. As it stands, P1 is the pro. Aiden Gwertz, you're not seeing that wrong. He's 4th. He is an AM class driver. And yeah, he's 4th in the overall, 1st in class. Chris Chitterling in the Pro-Am is 7th, and he's leading the Pro-Ams. And then you have Charlie Bass, who's in P19 in the overall, 1st in class for the rookies. That said, okay, we are back. And I hope you all can hear me. And if you can't, that's cool. I guess I'm doing this for the love of the game if no one can hear me. Um, I mean, yeah, I can't imagine who watched that broadcast and for last at Donington Park, and wow, this is just ASMR, and you get to see some racing at the same time. Um, Hopefully somebody in chat will tell me whether or not I am audio on right now for the mic. It's doing the whole. It's saying I'm there. I don't know what that would have been. Maybe a connection issue, a wire. No. We have Jeff Koffel, who's going to be the first driver to take us to the first hot lap as we go through the stadium section here. Jeff kind of dominating in class. His gross points is 1,885. Elliot Burt is in second with 1,376. Big margin. Big margin there. And I don't know about this Ryan Otis business. I think the points should not be carrying over. If I'm not mistaken, I think you lose the ability to fight for the championship, the overall. Could fight for the second half for sure, but not the overall championship. You are audio on. Thanks, S Maca 97. I appreciate that. It's very disconcerting the last time that happened. I had some great commentary for Donington Park, and everyone only heard about half of it. Or even like a third, maybe. Anyway. It's going to be a tight race for, I would say, the pros. They're all very close in terms of timing throughout practice. And I think that's going to mostly stay the same here with qualifying. At least slow stadium section. And then on exit, does he get a little squirrely? No, he doesn't. He looks planted, actually. Been seeing a lot of drivers exiting the penultimate corner, and it's just not really working for them. Slippery, as Jacob Simmons goes fastest overall. And we kind of expect that from Jacob. Power ranking system is as confusing as the old color-coded terror threat system. I don't even know what that means. All right, Jablonski went into second. There's a lot of people rifling through right now. We have 21 drivers have now set times on the board. I can't even keep up with trying to say who or when. Power rankings is it's not so bad. We'll go over to Ryan Otis here, who hasn't set a time on the board. Trey Mistek is out there. Is he going to qualify? I doubt it. It's one of those threats you have to look out for. Never qualifies and then charged from the back as Craig Carroll goes into 24th with that time on the board with a 145.2. Right now, quickest one is in the 141s. We only have 5 drivers in the 140s at the end of practice. I'm going to see, like, that might be the case for this qualifying session. Maybe a couple people get into the 140s, but ultimately you want to get into the 141s, low 141s or 142s. In 142, you want to get that low one. Right now, what Jeff has would only be best for P18 after everyone starts ramping up these times. As Gage Hines has just crossed the line to go the 141.3. Matt Benson across the line. I swear he had decals the last time. Now they're gone. He did change cars, I think. Oh, he's always been in a Mustang. I think he's always been in the Mustang. Angel Bonello Soto in P17. Joshua Jess across the line to 21st. Chris Lambeth improves to 7th. Austin McGill into 10th with that time across the board. Tyler Kern into 13th. Jake Daly into 16th. Andrew Frank, he crossed the line into P25. Ryan Otis still hasn't set a time on the board, but what is it going to be? Chris Chittering crossed the line into 6th. Ryan Otis right behind. He goes into P8 with that time on the board. Kurt Moss, no time recorded yet. Same with Craig Reese. And this looks like this could be an actual lap here. Let's see if this counts. Rodrigo Theory into P28. Puts Craig Reese into 31st there. Tom Smith in 32nd. We have Kurt Moss, Adam Tingle, Lars Tyhouse, and Elliot Burton. No times on the board just yet. Elliot's also on an outlap, so this isn't even going to count for him. He's going to be pushing for that first outlap. Jacob Simmons retakes P1. John Javecki up into 3rd. Marshall Scari into 6th. We have P1 and 2 in the Pro and Pro-Am class, both back-to-back. Pro, then Pro-Am. The leading AM class driver is Aiden Gortz, who is in 13th at the moment, the 142.1. Now, Jacob Simmons did get us into the 140s, but we shouldn't see that many drivers in the 140s. Austin McGill shows why he is P3 in the Pro Championship right now. That time across the board put him into 3rd. I think he's 2nd, but we gotta talk to our resident expert on this. Ryan Otis now crossing the line into 3rd. As I think you're not supposed to retain your points moving up from the rookie class. It's like less threats to deal with in that one. Kurt Moss did get the time on the board, and they're in 33rd. Craig Carroll improves into 28th. Zach Peterson into 30th. I'm going to just go across the board because some of these people are going to change, but I wanted to give a shout out to every driver that's out there. Craig Reese improved into 27th there. Joshua Justice is 28th. Richard Swedesky is in 26th. Chris Stewart is in 25. Angel Bonello Soto in 24. Andrew Frank in 23. Matt Benson in 22. Brendan Bird's 21. Forrest Holland 20th. And Eric Koonsman in 19th. Seth Hansen in 18. Charlie Bass in 17. Charlie Bass is leading the rookies right now. Tyler Kern in 16. Dylan Thomas in 15. Aiden Gwertz in 14. Jake Daly 13. Ooh, that's a change. Jake Daly's now leading over the AM class. P13 and 14 are both AM class drivers. As Joshua Jablonski has now improved, so has Tyler Kern. Kurt Moss also improved to 24th. Zach Peterson improved to 21. Eric Koonsman improved to 12th. Chris Chitterling in 11th. Marshall Scari in 10. Mark Foley in 9. Joshua Jablonski had improved, but just went back to P8 with John Javecki in 7. Austin McGill now down into 6th. Brian Otis in 5th. Gage Hines improved to 4th. Brandon Burns improved to 12th. Chris Chitterling across the line is now in 3rd. With Peter Flanner in 4th. Jeff Still in 2nd. And Jacob Simmons, no change in the leader at the moment. What does this Lambo have that no one else does? Because there's only 2 of them on track. And one of them is the fastest. That said, we got a lot of Ferraris out there, and they are quick. I think everyone's washed away the Aston Martin, except, I mean, a lot of people are still running it, just not as many as there was last season, the first half of the season. They might have changed. Elliott Burton's still one of the only drivers without a time on the board. 4 minutes 30 seconds left. This is going to be a actual flyer for him. And he's got some room to breathe as well. What time does this put him on? A 143.4, which is P30 for him. Peter Flanner now improves into second with that time across the board. A 140.5. Now we have 5 drivers in the 140s. That was exactly what happened in practice, mind you. So, it'll be interesting if someone else gets there. John Javecki's the closest one in P6. Brandon Burns improves to P11 with that time across the board. And no change in the leaders so far in class. Charlie Bass' closest rival is Angel Manelo Soto, who's in P29, second in class for the rookies. But there's only 2 rookies, or 3 rookies. One is not participating in qualifying and is possibly going to show up. He was driving around in practice, so we'll see him. Other time across the board isn't an improvement. Jeff Koffel did improve to P3 over Gage Hines. They are teammates after all. And that also was an improvement. That was a 143.2, so it's 3 seconds off his best time. Dylan Thomas improved to P11. Forrest Holland improved to 13th. Josh Jablonski moves up a couple spaces into P7 as Charlie Bass also moves up into 16th. It was 15th for a second as Aiden Gortz has now just taken the AM class by a small margin over Forrest Holland of 0.095. Actually, that's extremely close as it gets there. A 141.448 versus a 141.543. Dang. That is good. I think Gage is helping out his teammate just slightly. He is the one that's splitting the 2 Pro-Ams. P1 and 2. Jeff Koffold and Chris Chitterling in 3rd and 5th in the overall. That's going to be a battle. Dylan Thomas in 3rd in the Pro-Ams with Brandon Burns just behind him. They're in 11th and 12th on the overall at the moment. No split, though, for the pros. They're 1 and 2 at the moment. John Javecki improved. He went into 5th. Now that's 2 drivers is splitting up the Pro-Ams. Not that Jeff needs that padding. He's leading by a significant margin in the Pro-Am class, so based on his power rankings, he is going back up to the pros after this season ends, but not before dominating the Pro-Ams. And we've seen that level of domination in many classes before. And never the pros. It's always a knife fight for those guys, but for everyone else, every other class, whether it be the rookies, the AM class, or the Pro-Ams. I mean, the Pro-Ams have seen actual bully level domination time and time again. I think there's been some significant rants dedicated to the power ranking system over such scenarios when drivers are truly outside the power rankings of the class that they're in. And then it's no fun for everyone else. I don't think it's that way right now for the AIM class, though. I think they're Jake Daly, Jason Daly, whatever you want to call him. He's Jake Daly on right now, but we're about done here. John Javecki, I'm not sure if he's going to improve here. Take a look. Last one was a 140.8. Last one was now his newest one was 140.9. Jacob Simmons did improve though with that time, but he's still saying P1. And we still got some drivers that are out there. Elliot Burton, Charlie Bass across the line. Can they improve? Elliot Burton does not improve, nor does Charlie Bass. Chris Lambeth improved to P17 with that time across the board. Eric Koonsman improved to P11 with that time across the board. And who was that? Oh man, I'm not going to get that last one. I think it was Brandon Burns. Yeah, Brandon Burns went into P11 with that time. Joshua Justice goes into the pits. Tom Smith still out there. And I believe that is it. Yep, Lars Tyhouse goes in. And we actually have to wait for them. All right, there we go. That is qualifying from P1 to P36. There are other drivers that didn't qualify that probably will show up here. As it goes, Jacob Simmons P1, Peter Flander P2, Jeff Koffel P3, Gage Hines P4, Austin McGill P5, John Chavecki P6, Chris Sherling P7, Joshua Blonsky P8, Ryan Otis P9, Mark Foley P10, Brandon Burns P11, Eric Koonsman P12, Dylan Thomas P13, Aiden Gwertz 14, Forrest Holland 15, Tyler Kern 16, Marshall Scary 17, Chris Lambeth 18, Charlie Bass 19, Jake Daly in 20, Seth Hansen 21, Matt Benson 22, Adam Tinkle 23, Zach Peterson 24, Chris Stewart 25, Craig Reese 26, Richard Swiderski 27, Kurt Moss 28, Andrew Frank 29, Tom Smith in 30, Angel Winell Soto in 31, Rodrigo Theory in 32, Elliot Burton 33, Craig Carroll 34, Joshua Justice in 35, Lars Hiles 36, and if those drivers show up, Trey Missack in 37, Aaron Siciliano 38, Kyle Strauss in 39, Nolan Todd in 40, and that is the grid. I'm pulling a max turn 1. Good luck with that, Trey. I would like to see it. And that said, we have our grid. Where are they at? Where's a blimp? Okay, they're on the back straight. Let's say, let's go through a whole outlap here. Chopper. Well, I gave out the whole order of the grid, but just a brief one. In class, for the pros, it's Jacob Simmons P1, Peter Flander P2, and Gage Hines P3. For the Pro-Ams, it's Jeff Koffel P1, Chris Shearling P2, and Brandon Burns P3 for the Pro-Ams. Followed by the AM class, which is Eric Koonsman P1, Aiden Gwertz P2, and Forrest Holland P3. Our rookies, they're out there. Charlie Bass is P1, Angel Bonello Soto is P2, and Aaron Siciliano, if he joins, is P3. And we're taking an ad break right before the thing starts, so that's good. That's exactly what you want. But it's gonna do it before, so I think we're all good. We're still waiting to grid. Aaron Siciliano did show up, so did Trey Mistack and Nolan Todd. So we're just waiting on Kyle Strauss, Kurt Moss, Aiden Gwertz have not gone, and it is going to get close, and they are not in it. Kurt Moss, who was P28, out of it already. Aiden Gwertz, who was 14th, did not go onto the grid. So 2 drivers who qualified are not going to... yeah, they're going to start from the pits if they do end up racing at all. I'm not sure what happened for them. Hopefully everything's all good on their end. It's unfortunate. They did qualify. Just not great. Something. All right. Turn 1. Can these drivers take us to car racing better than Formula 1? We'll see. Peter Flanner on the the outside here is Jacob Simmons has already taken a little breakaway, and Jeff Koffold is actually getting a good push here, and it looks like Gage Hines is giving him that. They're going too wide. And that's two Valhallas trying to pass Peter Flanner. And one of them is trying to make the move, and that's Jeff Koffold. But slots back in, and everything's still smooth. Now we have two wide, as it's more or less going well for most of the drivers here. Eric Koonsman on the inside here of Mark Foley gets 2 positions gained from that. And just further back, you have drivers battling it out there. That's Tyler Kern, Mark Foley, and oof. That's not good. That is a pileup. That is Tyler Kern and Dylan Thomas, and that's another spin in the back. Oh, God. Guys, that is lap 1 drama. And most of them are getting right back out there on track. That is crazy. And they're slotting back in. Up ahead at the race where everyone seems to be going well, Eric Koonsman losing a spot there. Mark Foley, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but yeah, it's still just Connor. Thank you for the sub. I guess the bot said it for me, but I don't know why I didn't see that. Yeah, let's take a look. It's lap 1. It's done. Austin McGill gained 2 spots. Went past Jeff. Gage Hines is also down 1, so Austin McGill not playing he's playing the sister team game, right? He just passed both his sister teammates and is up. And Chris Chitterling got 1 position off the start there. John Javecki down 1, Ryan Otis up 1, Joshua Jablonski's down 1, and then Mark Foley retains where he started this, P10. Just behind Eric Koonsman, Marshall Scari is up 5, Forrest Holland is up 2. And yeah, he was involved in that incident. That is a front end that is gone. Holy. I wonder if he manages to maintain this pace. That is looking no bueno. Alright, Craig Carroll getting pretty close here with Lars Tyhouse, and they're going to go side by side. Lars Tyhouse getting the better exit and staying ahead. Trey Mistack already up 12 spots. He's got Angel Vanilla Soto just ahead of him. Elliot Burton also charging to the field with 7 positions gained. Joshua Justice up 8. Lars is up 8. Craig is up 5. Everyone felt the oof, everything. Yeah, that's it's Rodrigo Theory here, who's got Trey Mistack on the inside. Oh, and they make contact. That's some significant contact there with Angel Manuel Soto and Rodrigo Theory, and then Trey Mistack also trying to nose his way in, but that is a front end that is missing. You don't need any carbon fiber there. That is unlucky. I don't think Rodrigo Theory was ever at fault in that incident, but I could be wrong there. I just briefly saw it. Tries to retain it. That's an overtake there for Angel Vanilla Soto, who gets the job done. I mean, this guy just got to be missing some clicks there in terms of pace with that front end just completely missing. I think that's Trey Mistack down the inside line. He's going to try to make the move. But he's actually got Elliot Burton in his right on his rear or his right side. And Elliot Burton is now making a pass on Trey Mistack as both the other drivers go wide, and now Rodrigo Theory has been passed by not only Angel Vanilla Soto, but then Elliot Burton as well. And they're still side by side, and I think maybe it's going to go the way of Trey Mistack there, and it does. And through he goes. Up further in the order, we have Craig Reese. He's up 6. He's got Chris Stewart just ahead of him, who's also up 6. Charlie Bass, the only driver's down in the midfield here, but he's still leading the rookies at the moment. Here's that little split we're seeing already. Gage Heinz trying to make a move here on Jeff. They are teammates. And they are making it no quarter. But no, it's pretty clean. That was very clean. It looked like they were about to touch, but that was a clean overlap. Gage Heinz has now retained his spot over Jeff in P4. That's fantastic. Ryan Otis. He's up 1 spot from where he started. He's now up in P8. He's got a whole group behind him. Oh, maybe he's part of the group, I should say. Mark Foley's the one that's at the tail end of that in P10. And some gaps have already kind of formed, as you can imagine. Mark Foley has a 2.6 second gap to Eric Koonsman behind him, so doesn't really have to worry about that. He's just got this group just ahead of him. And they're all pros, with the exception of Chris Chitterling and Jeff Koffold, who are battling for P1 and 2 in class for the Pro-Ams. Ryan Otis. Oh no. He blipped. And then he's in... Oh no. That's unfortunate. Austin J. McGill flashing his lights, letting him know I'm right behind you. Right beside you, I should say. Oh! And a spin for Peter Flanner as Austin McGill made a little contact. That's right. Peter Flanner down into P10. That's not all. As far as bleeding goes, he's now back into 9th. Gonna work his way through the group again, but it's never a dull moment for Draft Punk. They've been having some good luck though, so that might just be a dose of bad luck but everyone has bad luck. Not sure what that is. I think that's Aiden. Oh, that's Aiden Gwartz and Kurt Moss, who on lap 1 they started from the pits, but they're battling their way through. Kurt Moss is up to P28. That's actually where he started, technically. It doesn't look like a big run for him because he's not gained anything, but he's actually... Oof, there's a slide there from Craig Carroll, and Aiden Gwartz is also battling out there as well. In class, it is a battle for these two. Jake Daly and... What is this, a camera for ants? Zach Peterson on the outside. Oof, gets a little nudge there. Ugh. That's there's some side action going on right now, and that was Jake Daly and Zach Peterson that made contact. I can't believe that car is still pumping it out there in P15 with no front end. What to speak of right there. Despite having that contact made, it looks like Zach Peterson is still pushing through this and not letting him bog him down. He's still up 5 positions. He did lose a couple right there. Kurt Moss now has Andrew Frank in his sights. And Nolan Todd, Texas Racing, in the 31st, up 8 spots from where he started. Gotta wonder about the other ones. We have 3 drivers that have retired from this race. It's unfortunate. Probably have to take a look at what happened there. Chris Chitterling is battling for a class win right now. Jeff Koffold is leading the Pro-Ams. The nearest Pro-Am, mind you, in the overall is P11. That's Marshall Scary. That said, it's a closer battle there for some of the other ones. Chris Stewart here up 9. He's in P16. He's got Jake Daly just ahead of him. Okay, now Forrest Holland went into the pits and now has rearmed his aero package. Is Jake Daly taking that defensive line into turn 1. And Chris Stewart on the outside trying to make this work. Really hits the curb there and gets the job done. Now, that is an impressive overtake. Now, Craig Reese. Blood in the water here. Maybe he thinks he can go for a move as well. This is in-class action, which is nice to see. You can't tell, but Chris Stewart is actually a pro, so he doesn't have his decals on, but in the pro category. Man, that first lap catastrophe. It's been a while since we've seen one of those. Gosh, last one I think we've seen was I want to say it was Watkins Glen last season. Charlie Bast kind of letting these drivers by. Both Trey Missek and Elliott Burton. Ooh, further ahead. Oof. Looked like there's a little bit of a side door action there with Craig Reese and Jake Daly. We'll be taking this fight maybe into turn 1. It's on the gyro cam. Does he go for a move into turn 1? You think about it, or is he going to slot in? Boom. He slots out to make a move. Sorta. He was alongside for a second. They'll move on. Yeah, this group right here in P 15 to 20 is probably our most exciting pack because they are actually still really close and people are making moves. There are other packs formed. There's just not that many this close together at the moment. It is pretty cool to see Elliott Burton at the back end of this. Trey Mistack and Zach Peterson. 2 class differences here. One's an AM class, one's a pro, and Zach's holding his own. Maybe not for long, as Trey's going to take this too wide. Just before the stadium section, gets a move done and dusted. And then Elliott Burton on the outside. I don't think that was going to work, but yeah, I think he just got definitely out of sync with his line there, and that slowed him down. Jeff Koffold and Chris Chitterling now swap positions. And look at that, Joshua Jablonski favoring Chris Chitterling here. And Jeff trying to... Oof, they're going to go side by side on this one. Not sure how... Oh, no switchback for Jeff. Jeff now down 3 spots. Chris Chitterling now leading the Pro-Ams, and Mark Foley getting involved in this. He's now P7. Back over to Peter Flanner, who's still P9. He's got John Javecki now ahead of him. And this group is kind of ramping up. They are all now getting really close and trying to make some moves. There goes Peter down the inside line. And gets the move done. Fairly, I mean, a lot of people are making that move. And it's clean, effective. Not much the other driver could do except take the defensive line prematurely to hold off that type of move. But there you go. Joshua Jablonski now up 3. Splitting the 2 Pro-Ams that are battling. Oof. Some more contact here. Oh. Zach Peterson and Elliot Burton. Making some contact. Got some drivers in the pits. Making the switch. And that will change things up in the order for sure. Let's go back. So we have, we know... Alright. Let's go back to the start here. Owen Thomas, Tyler Kern, I think it was Brandon Burns all make contact. Brandon Burns spins Tyler Kern, Dylan Thomas, and that's a hit. Chris Lambeth gets hit on that one. Forrest Holland as well. Tyler Kern is the one that did get spun. Chris Lambeth ends up tagging Brandon Burns. Charlie Bass wasn't involved, sorta. He actually just stopped. He just made an actual really well-timed stop and got out of the way and kind of went through that without the issue. Andrew Frank, however, he got spun and then tagged. That was all lap 1. Richard Swederski, was he involved in that one? Or is this actually... No, this is a different time now, lap 1, and he spins there. Or not spins, he just tags the wall after losing control. Tyler Kern, without a wing. And that is not going to go well. Angel Bonella Soto on lap 4. Gosh, you want to see that one back again. Boom! It's unfortunate. Peter Flanner on lap 5. We did see this one live, but here we go. There's a spin after getting tagged. Andrew Frank, a little later here in lap 8, spins, self-spins, but out of everyone's way. Can't make that cleaner than it is. Zach Peterson, lap 10. Just a lap ago. Well, can't even move because everyone keeps pumping through. But we're back to live, and let's take a look here. He is... got Forrest Holland, Richard Swederski is ahead of him. Forrest Holland's behind him with Vic Daly also. Oh no! And we just get another live one. Who was that? Let's take a look here. It's Angel Bonella Soto and Nolan Todd. Richard Swederski hits Nolan Todd. Oh, he didn't even hit him. Oh, he just braked because he saw the incident. Oh, and Nolan Todd. Oh, that's a bummer. And he's out of this race, I think. He's in the pits at the moment. Back live. Lap 12 of 27 to get hit. I mean, was doing the right thing. Saw that a guy was spinning ahead of him and he had slowed properly to mitigate hitting him. That would have been a nice T-bone, but then, yeah, Richard Swederski ended up being the one that hit him for slowing down. It's a rough business. Okay, Mistak trying to make a move here on Chris Stewart. It's not going to be easy, because Chris is pro. But, oh. Yeah, I think the McLaren is just a lot quicker. Did that before the corner. Up 22 positions. Biggest charger right now, P15. We have still 35 drivers of 39 that have still driving, I should say. And there's the damage. Richard Swardowski losing a little bit of the front end. Still in it though. And if you want to look at the positives, he's up one position from where he started this race. So. And let's take a look here. Class battles. While we are looking at Mark Foley trying to make a move here on Jeff Koffold, class battles that are happening. Jacob Simmons is leading the pros over Austin McGill, who's in second, and Gage Heinz, who's in third. Chris Chitterling is leading the Pro-Ams. He's first. Jeff Koffold is in second, and Marshall Scary is in third. And the overall, it's way different from 1, 2, and 3. It's 4, 6, and 11 for those Pro-Am drivers. They actually split up the remaining, actually 4, 5, 6, and 7 Pro-Am class, in class. They are in that mix as well. They're in 5th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. That said, with your AM class, it's a little bit simpler. Take a look here at Eric Koonsman, who's in no man's land. Got a 7.7 second gap to P9. Got a 4.6 second gap behind him of Marshall Scary. Not to mention Andrew Frank, who's a blue flag, who's in between them. He's 2.6 seconds back. But he's leading the AM class pretty well in hand. Matt Benson is in second, and Adam Tingle is in third. In the overall, that's 10th, 12th, and 13th. Followed by the rookies. Go back over to Peter Flanner, who looks like he's overtaken John Javecki at some point, and is now trying to charge his way back up the top steps here. In class, Peter Flanner is 6th. The only one he's fighting right now is going to be Mark Foley, who's just ahead of him. Adam Tingle also has a little bit of a battle here, and this is for AM class rights. P2 and 3. And is he going to try to make a move here? He was quicker on that last lap. Not to forget about the rookies. Charlie Bass is P1 in class. He's leading them. He's 19th in the overall. He's got a lot of AM class drivers and a lot of Pro-Am drivers as well. That said, his nearest rival is Aaron Siciliano, who's in P30, second in class. Angel Bonella Soto is in P33. He's third. So he's got one car between him and Aaron Siciliano for P2. Mind you, let's take a look and see if that's even close to a margin here. I don't think so. Where's Richard Swardowski? Oh, yeah, that's a bit of a gap. He's 4/10 off of Richard Swardowski, but he's still got a lot more. 6 point. Whoa! What just happened there? Oh, he lost it on the curb. Yeah. That's a bummer there for Richard. Does he spin it around all right? Yeah, he does. I think that was his teammate that just passed on by. Some carbon fiber just dancing. The end of the stadium section. Trey Mistack is exiting the pits. That 22 gained is now dropped down to 15, but might go a little bit more here. We'll see. Lars Tyhouse is passing through. And he does get by. Craig Mistek now only up 13. E24. Craig Mistek maybe forcing the issue here with Craig Carroll. He's going to go into the corner with him and does get on by. There's no way to fight that off there. Craig, fortunate, he's going to go side by side. The exit here. Before we get to the S's, does he have the move done? Yes, he does. He had proper overlap for the S's, and now that's up to 15 gained. Got the overall. He is the highest charger at the moment. Joshua Justice is actually also up there. P21. It's 14 gained. Got Kurt Moss ahead of him. And gotta remember, for Kurt Moss, this is as good as it gets. He started from the pits because of maybe he just had to go to the bathroom. But he's up 8 positions from where he started from the pits, got out there, past all the drivers in the thirds. He's probably our highest charger, technically, if you want to look at the facts there. Because we had 39 drivers start this race, and he was one at the back after the chaos probably helped him, but still, to be virtually, I mean, you got to look at Kurt Moss and Trey Mistek. Trey Mistek started this race, and he's charged to the field too. He's P22. So if you had to go with those numbers there, I would say that Kurt Moss is probably truly the highest charger at the moment. Because it's not just 8 positions. That's where he qualified. And he didn't even start there. He started at the back of the pack next to what it would have been Nolan Todd, who's P36 at the moment. I mean, yeah, he had that incident, but yeah, you just got to look at it in perspective-wise. That's how it all kind of unfolds. I think Kurt Moss is doing a phenomenal job there in the Pro-Am. Speaking of Kurt Moss, he's trying to make a move here on Tom Smith. Oop. Tom ate all that curb and then some. Joshua Justice, also a charger. He qualified not so well, but he is showing his race pace on track, and he is getting past some drivers. Well, he was closer earlier. Mitigating the damage and trying to get back some spots. Ooh, there's Joshua Jablonski and Jeff Koffel going side by side. Jablonski did get past Jeff at one stage when Chris Chitterling also made that move, and he's attempting to hold on to this, as well as having to defend against Mark Foley. Peter Flanner is also behind. This is pretty much... It's probably the pressure here has got to be the most enormous amount right now for Jeff. Having 3 pros behind you. I mean, to be fair, Jeff is a pro. He's in the Pro-Ams, but that's a sticker decal difference, and it's not really the... This should just be 2 pros battling it out here, but the demotions were yeah, I think I've said enough about it, but it's yeah, these Mark Foley making that move on Jeff Koffel was a fairly clean move there for Mark Foley. It's really not even talking about. Jeff is trying to respond here. Peter Flanner also getting in on the action. Peter trying to nab back every spot he can, because oof, and there's the spot he gained. There's P5, or no, that's P8, but oof, yeah. Everyone's gonna capitalize on this sort of event, as John Javecki's trying to as well. Can Jeff hold it ahead for the moment? Yes, he can. That was contact that dropped him down the order like that way, but Peter Flanner now down only 5 positions from where he started this race. And you'll see Trey Mistack and Joshua Justice. Yeah, yeah. Oof. I think Joshua there just went extremely wide, and a spot gain for Trey Mistack. Jake Daly. At one point was fighting for a podium, but now he's gone down. In class, he is 11th. Force Holland, just ahead of him, is in 10th, so in class. But overall, they're in 24th and 25th, but there's still a good battle. But yeah, Trey Mistack here, and he's got possibly another one going. What's that ugly livery on Trey's car? I don't... Are they not loading? I mean, it says McLaren cars on the side. What? Jake Daly having to defend here against Forrest Holland. Oh, no, got ahead of him. Ooh, Angel Bonello Soto sideways. That's take a look here. He's got no rear wing. I don't know if he knows that. I mean, everyone... I had to guess. Maybe some? Mark Foley has the same livery he had at the first half of this series. Chris Schitterling's is fine. All the Valhalla guys have their liveries shown. Adam Tingle is yellow. I think he's always been this yellow thing. Joshua Justice. What happened here? Oh, no. Oh, well, you know... That is... It's just racing. Yeah, you got this draft punk. Not sure. What are you referring to? Matt Benson out of the pits. Slots back into P19. It's an odd one. He was battling for P3. Now he's down a little bit. Gotta take Trey's points away for no decals. He's got decals. It says McLaren cars. It doesn't seem like that's the one that he used previously. If that's the case. But he also has the decals on it, so he is running it intentionally. If that's what you're referring to. And technically, Matt Benson does have the decals, but it's not showing up. That is one of those, yeah, they're technically doing the right thing, but it's not working out for him. Joshua Jablonski also in the pits. Why? Oh. This is... Okay. Now I'm starting to... all been piecing together. Peter Flanner made a move there on Mark Foley. There are 21 laps in no one's pit besides Matt Benson. Jake Daly pit on lap 9. You got a lap 6, 8. Oh, some of these guys were involved in incidents. That's also the case. Kurt Moss into the pits. Now we're seeing the trigger. Trey Misek pit on lap 14, and he's got Matt Benson behind him, who pit on lap 19. So the biggest mover is probably going to be Trey Misek again. He's first driver out of P1 through 15 that has actually pit. Trey has some Papaya Rules livery or something. I think he did have that. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But these drivers have yet to pit. Here they go. Everyone's in now. Austin McGill's in. Gage Heinz stays out. Chris Chierling comes in. Peter Flanner stays out. Mark Foley stays out. Jeff Koffold stays out. John Javecki stays out. Marshall Scari, not even close yet. What's going to happen there? How long is this for Jacob Simmons? He is now out in P6. Austin McGill just behind. Chris Chierling. Marshall Scari stays out. Eric Koonsman stays out. Adam Tingle, I think he has yet to pit. He's going in. So does Seth Hansen. Seth Hansen's been here. He's having a clean race for himself. Up 9 spots. He'll probably keep those 9. Most of them. Who else? Craig Reese is in. So it's... that would be the last one. Trey Mistak is now exiting the stadium in the final corner and is going to jump drivers that are in 10, 11, 12, and 13. Oh, just a couple of them. No, Seth Hansen and Adam Tingle are out there on the out. We can't see him in frame, but he's going to be battling them for position and gets way past them. And that is P11 for Trey Misek, who's up now 26 positions. This might be the biggest we've seen him move across this little journey he puts himself on. Matt Benson going side by side with Seth Hansen, who hit already. Seth keeping it ahead, crucially, of Matt Benson for position. Also in class position as well. Seth Hansen is 3rd. Matt Benson is 4th. That podium that Matt Benson was fighting for was on the line. It is still on the line. With 5 laps to go, he's got to get past Seth Hansen for P3 in class. Eric Koonsman still leading the AM class. And Jacob Simmons back out there. He's now up to 3rd. And it's going well for him. Gage Heinz is out in 5th. Peter Flanner is exiting the pits. John Javecki is exiting the pits. Chris Chitterling is about to possibly inherit some big spots here. Yes, he does. He gets ahead of Peter Flanner. He's got Marshall Scari, who has yet to pit. Jeff Koffold and Mark Foley have not pit as well. I bet Trey loves Verstappen. Yeah, possibly. Chris Stewart and Josh Jablonski battling it out here for P15. For P15. It's ahead. Aiden Wirtz is involved in this as well. He's going to go side by side. And they are going to take this to turn 1. Chris Stewart now has to deal with Aiden. Thanks. Thanks for the 1,000 points thing to explain my love for pickles. You can go to Jimmy John's and get a pickle sandwich. Looks disgusting as all can be, but go for it. It's gross. You should feel bad. Just a quick overview again. This driver started from the pit lane. He qualified though, so it doesn't look like he did much, but he's in P23. There was 39 drivers on the grid, and he was one of those drivers at the back of that 39. He was 38 or 39. Aiden also is in that same boat. Aiden didn't start the race, and he would I'm gonna say that's, yeah. Is it him? Twice. No, it wasn't him. I think it was Aaron Siciliano that had to do that. That might be it. Alright, here we go. Chris Shearling holds P4, now up 3 spots from restart. Mark Foley trying to battle it out here. Peter Flanner down in, still trying to recover. He's now down only 4 from where he started after having contact. This is as close as it gets. Jacob Simmons leading with a 3.8 second gap to Austin McGill. Gage Hines now 9 seconds. I'm not even sure he's actually had to really deal with anything besides the first couple of laps. He's kind of walked away with it. That's what pro level dominance looks like. And he did take the championship for the first half. Ryan Otis was the rookie champion. And I think the points are a little screwy on this one. We'll take a look here. John Javecki's battling it out here with Jeff Koffold, who's last 4. An idyllic race there for Jeff. Jacob Simmons. So we got P1, 2, and 3 are all pros. Jacob Simmons, Austin McGill, Gage Hines. That's the pro class 1, 2, 3. The pro-ams in 4th in the overall, 1st in class, Chris Chitterling. 7th in the overall, 2nd in class, Jeff Koffold. 9th in the overall, 3rd in class, Marshall Scari. With getting closer and closer here, all these drivers. That said, the AIM class, we have on the overall, it is 10th position. 1st in class, Eric Koonsman, the leader in the AIM class, with Adam Tingle, who's overall 12, 2nd in class. And then Seth Hansen, he in the overall is 13th. And he's got Matt Benson just behind, who's 4th in class. So there's still a chance battle for 3rd podium spot in class. And there's only a 7/10 gap, so it's pretty close. It's been a great race. A lot of chaos, I will be honest with you. The 3 laps left to go. The chaos that ensued was on just the start of the race before we get to, gosh, I want to say it's turn 4 or 5. I think it's turn 5. Yeah, it's just a bunched up group of guys, and one spun another, and that created a colossal contact fest that didn't end. Whoa, that move on Chris Lambeth put Chris Lambeth put on Elliot Burton. Chris Lambeth has not been here for a while. Peter Finer still trying to make a move here, Mark Foley. Chris Lambeth, I think, left after the first lap contact. I don't even think he made it, or maybe he was 2nd. Yeah, he didn't survive long. Oof, 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 oof. That is not an idyllic pass. Peter Flanner goes up into P5. Mark Foley still having a great race for himself. Is in P6. Started P10. Aiden Gwertz here, and Chris Stewart has still been battling out here. Lap after lap, they do this dance to turn 1, but then it's just kind of fades away. Give him the old shaft punk there from Peter. But to be fair, as bright as this race is, as exciting as it has been, there's going to be a lot of reports for some side-by-side contact into corners, mid-corner, exiting corner, where drivers are just... Hey, there's been a lot of clean passing as well. There's been a lot of clean passing, but there's been a lot of NASCAR bump and runs. Had to take it to look here. So P11 here for Trey Mason. I don't think he's going to get anything more. But 26 positions gained for this man. They're just getting a little rowdy. Nothing wrong with that. What's the final lap? These two still trying to... I think Chris Stewart's still trying to hold this off here. So far, so good. And can we see the crash on lap 1? I could try to play it if during the commentating. Yeah, if there's a chance. I did do a review of it earlier. You'd have to wait for the YouTube, but I could probably try to play it when everyone's done. This is the final lap, so we gotta take a look here at the overall winner in Pro, Jacob Simmons. It was Brandon Burns and Tyler Kern that ended up. I think it was those two. It was not Tyler Kern's fault, I don't think. There goes Jacob Simmons winning P1. And remaining, Austin McGill in second. Gage Heinz rounding the final corner. Take the flag. Chris Chitterling. P4 in first in class win for him. And he's going to do it in style. Congratulations. Peter Flanner in fifth. Good old hit there. Mark Foley in sixth. Additional hit. Jeff Koffold in 7. John Javecki in 8. Congratulations, guys. Just making some chaos after you finally cross the line. That is very fun. Marshall Scari in 9. Eric Koonsman wins for the AM class. Trey Mistack, biggest mover here. Finds it across the line. Goes into 12th. Adam Tingle got him P11 for him. Trey Misak 12. Seth Hansen 13. Matt Benson 14. Joshua Jablonski 15. Chris Stewart 16. You can't even see him because there's so much. Aiden Quartz 17. Craig Reese 18. Forrest Holland crossing the line into 19. Rodrigo Theory into 20. Great job for Rodrigo. That's up 12 from where he started. 21 is Kurt Moss. 22 is Charlie Bass. 23. Charlie Bass also wins in class. And Jake Daly doesn't have enough to make it to the line, or does he? Craig Carroll is about to round the corner and take a spot away from him, and he does take a spot away from him. And so does Joshua Justice. And Jake Daly now down. He's got a little ways to go, and there's no one left in this race to help him. He gets it. Tom Smith in P26, Tyler Kern 27, Lars Tiles 28, Brandon Burns 29, Andrew Frank 30, Richard Swiderski 31, Andrew Siciliano 32, Angel Manello Soto 33, Elliot Burton 34, Zach Peterson 35, Nolan Todd 36, Ryan Otis 37, Dylan Thomas 38, Chris Lambert 39, and Kyle Strauss didn't show up here, but see if I got anybody. Congratulations to both of you. Start with you, Chris. Congratulations. That was a fantastic result there. You battled out Jeff Koffold at the start, and then you just kept it together. That was fairly well in hand. How'd you manage that? And then also you had a bunch of drivers that were pretty quick that were behind you. You had Peter Flanner, Mark Foley. How did it all, I guess, pan out for you after you got past Jeff?
Yeah, thanks. I think what really did it was everybody behind me decided to race each other, which really allowed me to build a little bit of a gap and save some fuel. Because if they continued without racing each other, they definitely would have passed me.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen there. I mean, it was all that battling. It was kind of conducive for that. And then also, I don't even know if you saw all the damage that happened behind you, but how did it feel throughout the race? Did you have any issues with any lap cars? Because there was some guys down.
No, I didn't have any issues with any lap cars. It was pretty good. And it was definitely good to see in my rearview mirror. It's sad, but it was good to see the people behind me making contact with each other and slowing each other down. That probably kept me alive.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. It was a great job there. And also, fantastic result, just trying to keep it out there as long as possible. I'm not sure if that was your response there, but it worked out in your favor, especially when you're seeing people getting out of the pits and where you're kind of angling on the start straight next to them. I mean, it was I think that's how you got past one of the pros there. after the pit stops.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well. My pit stop wasn't the cleanest. This is my first race in the Mustang ever, and I still haven't figured out how to get it out of the pit box cleanly. So got to figure that out. I launched and practically stalled. I didn't stall the engine, but I bogged down a bunch. Was like, oh, maybe I'll slip the clutch, and I was just slow out of the pit box. But it was good to pit then and then come back around, and there were a couple people that definitely saved more fuel than I did, and so it was good to see that I was still past them even after they pit.
Yeah, exactly. And fourth in the overall. That's got to feel good. First in class. Thanks for joining me, Chris. That was a fantastic result.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Thanks for the stream.
Yep. Jacob Simmons, congratulations on the overall win in just a classic dominance, leading by, I think it was 3 point something seconds there at the end to Austin McGill, extending your championship reign there. How did it feel? Just did you even think about? Were you even like in focus on that whole thing, or I mean, were you just worried about passing some blue flags?
Oh no, I mean I was focusing pretty hard. I feel like the funny thing is the races where you're out in front are sometimes the most stressful because it's like you're like I was so focused on like all right, I got to keep a gap, got to keep pushing rather than like trying to follow somebody else. So I don't know, it's stressful. This track is not easy. Uh but it was fun. It was a good race. Yeah, thankfully blue flags did great. They let us right through. So Austin's super quick. I think if he had qualified a little higher and had a better start, he would have been right on my tail the whole race. We were like pretty close in pace for the whole race. I just had a gap by the time he got by Peter. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
fun race.
I did one final question. Peter Flannard, the contact that was made. I think maybe if he didn't have that contact, he would have probably been able to maybe give you a run for your money, possibly. But he did inevitably have contact, and that spun him out, and he ended up finishing fifth. But I mean, he had to claw back. I think it was 6 spots. It was pretty rough for him.
Yeah, yeah, that's rough. He was quick too. I'm bummed he kind of. Yeah, I feel like he's another one where if he hadn't got spun out, I think he would have found his way up to catch me and give me a battle. But yeah, it's a good race.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations again, and awesome extending your championship title there.
Thanks, man.
hmm Eric Kunzman, thank you for joining me. Don't want to leave you out of this at all. You're seventh in the rankings, but with a win under your belt, that's got to put you up, I guess, probably a good margin. Congratulations on the win. Adam Tingle was your closest rival. You had Matt Benson for a little bit. You also had Aiden Gords, but I don't know what happened with those. With Aiden, he's just was gone at some point. He finished fifth, but yeah, I guess how did it go for you? I mean, you finished P10. I know there's some contact with or some drivers that dropped out of it, but ultimately you kept dictating some good pace.
Yeah, I was just I got a good quality, so that put me out in front of all the chaos that happened back there. And then I was just I knew I wasn't gonna be fast enough to catch the guys in front of me, so I was just trying to keep about 5 second gap on Marshall and made a little overzealous throttle application on turn one and spun me, but I had enough gap on Matt to keep ahead of him.
Yeah, it was a fantastic result. And uh, were you aware of your in class battles that you had to worry about, and like the drivers? Because it seemed like you were giving a really good push. Like your pace was really strong compared.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was on pole for the amp, so I just had to keep everybody else behind me and having Marshall in between me and Matt, and then Adam kind of helped. And then Trey came out of nowhere and
Yeah,
got between me and Adam. So I had a little bit of buffer there, just trying to keep the pace. Started fuel saving a little bit halfway through the first stint, just to see if maybe I could go a little longer and get a little more gap. But yeah, it was a good pace, surprisingly, from Mexico, and the Aston's not very good there, so happy with it.
yeah, fantastic result. I mean, it really was cool to see. I mean, it's always awesome to see when the like AM class drivers are able to put it in a good spot, qualify, and then also just hold on to it because your race pace is still seriously strong. And it was funny to see. I mean, you probably were kind of like why is Trey here? But you know,
Yeah.
he's one of those inevitabilities sometimes.
Well, I think he started fuel saving or was running out of fuel because he got up to like 1.2 seconds and then he dropped back all of a sudden to 6. I was like, oh, okay, well, let me just take it easy the rest of this.
Yeah, I mean, Adam got him across the line because he barely had enough fuel to get to the line there. So right at the end of the race, so at least Adam got P11 in the overall. So there's that. But thanks for joining me, Eric. Congratulations on the win. That was well in hand, man.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully, I'll have a couple more this season. It's a good
Yep.
stretch for me at the second half. So,
Absolutely,
thanks, Jason.
Yeah, thank you. Great. Thank you, everybody. That is the stream. Thank you all for joining me. What's cool is we got to interview everybody except Charlie Bass. Charlie Bass was the rookie winner, and Jacob Simmons, our pro winner, and Chris Schitterling was the pro-am who we interviewed first, and then Eric Koonsman was the AM class. That said, it was great stuff from everybody, and everybody have a good evening. If you want to be involved, just join the Discord. We have plenty of different races besides the GT3. 20 different championships besides the GT3 Sprint one. There's the Broken Wing, the Broken Wing Endurance Championship, the Falcon Championship, and the V's and Rays are multi-class, and then we have the Arca Oval Racing. Sometimes it goes to roads, as you might know, and they're starting the second half of that this week. So stop in. Thanks for joining me, and have a good evening.